What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that Ali Land boxing talk, people. And today we talking Adrien Broner lost to Pacquiao because he was trying to be Floyd Mayweather. Alright, people, so we're a day out from the Broner fight. Pacquiao picked up a big victory, man. He looked good. Uh, Knowing now that he was sick during the fight, he actually looked better than I thought he did. Because when I was initially watching it, I could tell that around the seventh or eighth round, he started slowing down a little bit. Adrien Broner started slowing down around the third round, but Pacquiao, you can noticeably tell that he was purposely taking like a round off around the beginning of the seventh round. I believe it was either the sixth or the seventh round. Like he just kind of like took the whole round off. Well, because Broner wasn't doing anything anyway. He was in this Philly shell defense that he used. I call it a Philly roll. The Philly roll defense. It's like the shoulder roll and the Philly shell combination. So he's in this Philly roll defense, and he was holding his hands down too far. When Mayweather does the shoulder roll, he does it with his hands down here, but his head is completely tucked back because he's longer than most guys at welterweight. He's slightly taller than most guys at welterweight, except for maybe a Keith Thurman. So he's able to keep his hands lower because his head is a few inches and his chin is a few inches back because of his height. And this is what Broner was attempting to do, but with Pacquiao being basically maybe an inch taller than him or right around the same height, it wasn't working with the same. It wasn't working the same as when Floyd Mayweather does it. Pacquiao was basically, and the fact that he wasn't tucking his head back, it just made his face really easy to hit for Pacquiao. So Pacquiao was just throwing a fake. Then he would throw one over, barely tap him. He would throw another fake, and then he would hook him real fast. It was funny, man. Like the first 5 or 6 rounds, he just kept doing it like that. And then like around the 7th round, like I said, he like took the whole round off. And I'm like, well, why is he? But he said he could have knocked him out, but Boo Boy told him to slow down because he didn't want him to get Marquez. And but now knowing that he would actually have the flu or some type of cold, it makes a lot of sense why he wanted him to slow down, because he could have easily burnt himself out trying to knock Broner out. If your lungs is filled with fluids, it's hard to get that stuff out. And it was one point where I saw Broner actually catch Pacquiao with a punch, and Pacquiao's whole body language changed. It was I almost thought I'm like, no, he's not about to get knocked out again. Not by that weak punch. But you could tell he's stunned. But I think what happened was he punched him in the nose, and when you got a stopped up nose, you already can't breathe. So I think he punched him in the nose, and I hate to be nasty, but like when you got a stopped up nose and then you get punched in it, like your fluids can shoot back to the back of your throat, so it can make you choke. So I think he might have choked on some nostril fluid for a sec, because he like hit him and he like stopped for a second, and Broner kind of stopped and looked at him too, like what the and then he kind of like, and he was kind of like wobbly for a few seconds, and then he kind of like got back into it. That was like the 8th or 9th round. You go back and watch it again. But I kind of found that to be odd when I was watching it. But then when I after the fight, when he started saying what he was saying about him having the cold and he was sneezing and kept blowing his nose during the press conference, I'm like, okay, I see now. This is why he reacted the way he did when Broner punched him in the nose. But as far as the what Broner attempted to do with the Philly roll, I'm pretty sure that was something that Mayweather came up with for him to try to use the Philly roll defense, and to counterpunch out of it was the bad part about it, because he was actually not really getting hurt really bad using that defense, but he was taking a lot of body blows, taking a lot of big body blows. But when you have to be long to use that type of defense. Your arms have to be long because you have to be able to punch over somebody punching at you. And Broner doesn't have the reach to punch over Pacquiao's reach. And Pacquiao was able to close distance by throwing that fake, throwing the tap punch, and throwing the extra punch and just hooking him real. And what he's doing is when he's throwing that tap, when he's coming back after that tap punch with the fake punch, he's closing distance real fast and then hooking. He's like taking 2 steps, hook, 2 steps, hook. And Broner's just not fast enough to even with the Philly roll, he wasn't fast enough to roll. Maybe he just wasn't rolling in the right direction, because he was rolling right into it every time. And then Pacquiao started doing that to his body, and it was just, the fight was kind of over after that, because like I said, Broner gassed in the 3rd round anyway. But I just think the Philly roll was the right defense to use, but the counter punching was the wrong offense to use. He should have only been Philly rolling when Pacquiao was coming toward him, and he should have been trying to be offensive when Pacquiao was taking breaks, and he wasn't doing that. He was kind of trying to Philly roll the whole night, and it wasn't working at all. As far as, the Maypac rematch, I know everybody keeps talking about it. I don't want to see it anymore. I feel like with the performance of Pacquiao and Adrien Broner only being 29 years old, and him being a similar fighter to Floyd Mayweather defensively, and Floyd Mayweather really not having an offense, being kind of out of shape, being off from boxing for almost 2 years, I see Pacquiao kind of beating him easy now. And it's the whole fight, the allure of the fight has changed to me, because I don't want to see Pacquiao go beat an old Mayweather. I wanted to see him beat Mayweather in his prime. I wanted to see them both fight in their prime. And since Mayweather's no longer a prime opponent, I just don't want to see that fight anymore. Everybody's talking about the Earl Spence possibility, the Terrence Crawford possibility, the Mikey Garcia possibility, the Thurman possibility. There's a lot of possibilities at PBC. None of these fights I want to see anymore, because he just made a very young guy look extremely ordinary, and he's really not going to gain anything from it. And this is my whole problem now with Pacquiao fighting these guys. If it was a real competition, I would have a different thought about that. But now that he's making these guys look so ordinary, it's not even worth him watching him beat these guys. This is going to be another boxing match. I want to see him fight some higher level competition to end his career. And to me, the only high level competition out there is Canelo Alvarez. That's the only fight he should be pursuing, and then he should retire. It shouldn't be fighting Earl Spence, and Earl Spence possibly knocking him out, and being the guy who can go around saying, "Hey, I beat Manny Pacquiao. I beat Manny Pacquiao." I don't want to see that. I don't want that for Terrence Crawford. I don't want that for Mikey. I would rather see Broner fight Mayweather. I think that's a good fight. If Mayweather's going to come back, I would rather see him fight Broner. I would rather see Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. And I would much rather see Mikey Garcia fight Vasil Lomachenko. And I think those are the fights I would much rather see. And I would much rather see Pacquiao end his career fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez. I think that's the only matchup he should be pursuing at this point. And it should be 154 pounds. It should be a no rehydration clause. And it shouldn't be for no titles. It should just be for money and pride. If you need any boxing gear, hit that description box, man. If you want to be a part of the Ali Land Boxing Talk community, head over to the community section. Hit that like button if I'm mad. And please subscribe. If you know the homeless people, man, it's cold outside, man. 1 minute of your life and some leftovers could really change your life, man. So Give up 1 minute and save a life, man. If you ain't got nothing else to tell them about, talk about boxing. Cardinal Red, Ali Land Boxing Talk. Yeah.